All right, hello and welcome. Today we are diving head first into the world of specialty coffee. You know those words you see on your favorite bag of beans? We're going to decode them. By the end of this, trust me, you'll be a total pro. So picture this. You're standing there, you grab a beautiful bag of coffee, and you're looking at the label. You see the country? Sure. You recognize the roaster. But then there are these other names. What are they all about? I'm talking about names like Typica, Bourbon, or maybe the really famous one, Gesha. Now, these aren't just some fancy marketing words somebody made up. No way. They are actual clues. Clues to the flavor, the history, the very DNA of the coffee that's about to be in your cup. And today, we're going to crack that code together. Okay, so to really get into the nitty-gritty, we first got to zoom out and look at the big picture. Commercially speaking, there are really only 3 main species of coffee grown in the entire world. And, well, the numbers here really speak for themselves. There is one clear winner, Arabica. It just dominates the field, making up the huge majority of what we all drink. Now, Robusta definitely has its place, in espresso blends, instant coffee, that kind of thing. And Liberica? That's a super tiny niche. And that's why the entire world of specialty coffee is pretty much all about Arabica.
So why all the love for Arabica? What's the big deal? Well, it really boils down to 2 things, quality and complexity. See, Robusta is tough. It's a survivor. It produces a ton of coffee cherries. But its flavor, kind of one note. Arabica, though? Arabica is like the sensitive artist. It's way fussier, harder to grow, but oh my gosh, the things it can do. It's capable of producing this mind-blowing spectrum of tastes and aromas.
So here's the key takeaway, right? We're zooming in on Arabica because inside this one species, there is this massive, incredibly diverse universe of what we call varieties. And that, my friends, is where the real adventure, the flavor adventure, truly begins.
So where did this all come from? How did it all start? I mean, with hundreds of different varieties out there, you'd think the family tree would be impossibly complex, right? But here's the crazy part. The origin story is actually super, super simple.
I'm not kidding. Almost every single cup of high-quality Arabica coffee you have ever had, you, can trace its family history all the way back to just 2. That's right, 2 original foundational plants. And here they are, the power couple, Typica and Bourbon. You can think of these 2 as the Adam and Eve of the entire specialty coffee world. Seriously, they are the genetic ground zero for this massive, sprawling family tree.
So let's break it down. Typica, think of it as the original, the OG, the genetic bedrock of everything. And from Typica, we get Bourbon, which became famous for this incredible sweetness and these really complex fruity notes. This is exactly why so many coffees you get from, say, Brazil or El Salvador, where bourbon is everywhere, have those delicious, classic flavors of chocolate, caramel, and sweet red berries.
Okay, so this brings up a pretty obvious question, right? If we started with just 2, Typica and Bourbon, how in the world did we end up with the hundreds and hundreds of different varieties we have today? Where did they all come from? Well, the answer is actually twofold, and it's fascinating. It's a story of 1 part chance and 1 part science. So new varieties basically come into being down 2 main paths. First, you've got natural mutation. These are just spontaneous, random changes in a plant's DNA that create something totally new. You can think of them as nature's happy little accidents. And then, on the other path, you have intentional breeding. This is where scientists basically play matchmaker, intentionally combining the best traits of different plants to create something new on purpose. A perfect example of one of those happy accidents, Caturra. It's a natural mutation of bourbon that just happened, and it resulted in a smaller, more compact plant, which was a game changer for farmers because it was so much easier to take care of and harvest. It literally just appeared one day, and it completely changed the coffee industry. And then you've got the science approach. Take Castillo, for example. This one was created on purpose by researchers in Colombia. They faced this huge problem, a devastating disease called coffee leaf rust. So they took the really great qualities of Caturra and crossed it with a different plant that happened to be resistant to that disease. And the result? A fantastic, high-quality coffee that can actually survive and fight back against major threats. Okay, so now we know how all these new varieties are born. So let's meet a few of the celebrities, the famous descendants that you're most likely to see on a bag of coffee. These are the names that really get coffee nerds like me excited. They're the superstars of the Arabica family, and each one has its own unique story and, more importantly, its own distinct flavor.
First up, we have to talk about the legend, Gesha. This variety was flying completely under the radar for years until, bam! It completely stunned the judges at a coffee competition in Panama. It is famous for this incredible, almost perfume-like aroma. It's just bursting with these notes of jasmine, bergamot, tea, tropical fruit. It is the absolute definition of a luxury coffee experience.
Next, let's circle back to Caturra. Remember, this was our happy accident, the natural mutation of bourbon. This one is a real workhorse. You will find it all over Latin America. And in the cup, what you're going to find is that classic sweetness from its bourbon parentage, but often with a brighter, crisper acidity. Think like a tart green apple or a zesty citrus note right alongside that sweetness. And then we have Castillo, the hero of Colombian coffee that was bred specifically for resilience. This coffee is now the absolute backbone of the entire country's coffee production. So what does it taste like? It delivers a really classic, super approachable flavor. You'll often get these soft notes of orange and a smooth, long-lasting caramel finish. It's just reliable and so delicious. All right, and finally, we have to talk about a really special case. Sometimes on a bag of coffee from Ethiopia, you'll see the word heirloom. Now, this isn't one single variety. Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee, right? And it is just teeming with thousands upon thousands of wild, ancient coffee plants that haven't even all been classified yet. So heirloom is this beautiful catch-all term for that incredible, wild, mysterious genetic diversity.
Okay, so after all of that, what does this actually mean for you the next time you're staring at a shelf full of coffee bags trying to decide what to buy?
What it means is that little name on the bag, that's now your secret decoder ring. It's your personal clue to that coffee's family tree, its potential flavor, and its own unique story. You can ask yourself, is this a sweet descendant of bourbon? Is it one of those wild Ethiopian heirlooms? Or is it a modern lab-created hybrid? That name, the variety, is your personal map to a whole new world of taste. So the next time you go to buy coffee, I want you to look for that name. Be curious about it. Maybe try a Caturra one week and then a Castillo the next and see if you can actually taste the difference in their backstories. Because really, the only question left is, what are you going to discover in your next cup?